that didn't exist in the first game, such as the fact that you can shine a light into every room to at least slow the potential enemy. Another new game mechanic, the music box. In simple terms, the music box is there to give you more stress throughout the night, as it's constantly ticking down every system. It won't stop ticking down unless you wind it remotely. Failure to wind up the music box is
I wonder what happens if Force moves.
just how screwed you are. Not only do you have to watch a plethora of camera, you also have to listen to several audio cues throughout the night. You need to shine a flashlight on every hallway to go to box. You need to shine a light on the sneaking, and there's another new game mechanic that's supposed to keep you on your feet so you don't have your light terminated post-haste. The mask. If any animatronic is remotely near your room, you have to put it on and it will fool every animatronic into thinking you're one of them. Except Foxy, who will still come down the corridor. And you still need to make sure the puppet is wound up or it's an instant death. Remember how I mentioned the micromanaging we have to do in the first game becomes seamless as the franchise continues? Well, this game takes that concept and cranks it up to 15, and instead of just 4 animatronics you have to keep tabs on, you have 10. Since Scott was feeling nice, however, he decided to have some of the animatronics run the game and put them out of action some of the night so that the game doesn't bombard you with constant jump scares every time you play. I'll get to the jump scares a little later, but I think it's probably time to address the big elephant in the room and talk about some of the questionable design decisions for some of the animatronics this time around. Now, this is a comment on internet culture more than anything, but I think the jump scare factor in the animatronics alone is significantly smaller than that of the first game. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the game does tension really, really well and balances things with a more wicked version of the animatronics. It was something Scott played into perfectly, because the grunginess of the 1,000-yard stairs that the animatronics had really sold the creepy factor when the going started to get tough. In the second game, however, the puppet was really creepy and maybe Mangle, but as for the originals, well, whether or not it was actually intentional or not, we'll never really know. But I'm 99% sure someone slipped aphrodisiac in Scott's holy water, because the way he described these animatronics in the first 2 games certainly was a little...
Not a super cloud.
Where is it? Where is it?
When I got you, no more to do. Even if it's doing, I die in 1 hour.
The point I made earlier in the video about jump scares being a cheap way of getting a scare out of someone is definitely valid here, because some jump scares, in particular Golden Freddy's one, just involve the PNG flying towards the camera with a really loud sound. That's just bollocks! Anyone can do a scare like that. Here, I'll do it right now. Except provide plenty of snipers for the young kids playing the game. Or not playing the game and watching another YouTuber play it because they're too scared to play it themselves. This reminds me. While working on this video, I decided to play through all the games again from scratch, and you can watch the series on my second channel, which will show up around here and will be linked in the description. So if you want to watch a 2021 revisiting of the franchise, yes, I said 2021, it's taking me this long to work on the video, then head to my second channel T9 to watch more from it. Back to the game once again. Is exactly the same as the first game. Survive until 6 AM, whatever the cost. Since adding a power counter like the first game would be pretty overkill, instead you're asked to temper your usage of the flashlight, as it's imperative to flash Foxy in the hallway to prevent him from entering the office.
Because Foxy really likes to be flashed.
To counteract this, you have some new characters such as Rabbit, who only exist to ruin your day. If you let him in the office, he will render your flashlight unusable, so you better hope you're near 6 AM or else...
Sure. I need to get used to it. Nice. My mashing is terrible today. It's fine though.
True, you lying git! I thought this was supposed to be a summer job for 1 week. Why am I getting my check at the end of the year? If you're somehow crazy in the time, you get a bonus paycheck of $20.10. Wow, I can buy an Xbox and a Sony with that money. That aside, the film guy outright confirms that this game is as the pizzeria closes down at the end of the game. The events right before the first game. Interestingly enough, at the end of the first playable night in game, where you're able to edit the difficulty of the
Shut up.
weird because technically speaking, this should be his first day on the job. And yet there was no guy. The story started to get a little bit into a microphone. These give small hints as to what the story of the game so far entails and are obviously capped up with alright then. Again, people did enjoy the game on launch, but the issues of the game having little to no replay value still remain. And there were some people even complaining about the difficulty in managing so many different things at once, which is something Scott's games have all asked of the player to do, even as far back as Chipper and Sun. Freddy Fazbear momentum was growing and the Five Nights at Freddy's 3 was released on March 2nd, 2015. Okay, I'm just kidding. The game itself, I wanted to quickly talk about a topic that's some very of the video go on, and some people will call the fast release of FNAF games milking, while others will call it capitalizing on the popularity of your IP.
Drink your milk, kid. I don't want
Susan. Unlucky speedrunner. Unlucky speedrunner.
Yeah, well, I happen to know that
Susan.
milk helps build strong bones. Drink up.
Speedrunners.
Calcium, vitamin D, and potassium.
Most of the time, that's
Make
regular.
sure your
Speedrunner.
is one of them. One simple way, 3 servings of milk
Susan.
milk a day.
This time FANS into detectives, looking into every last nook and cranny of Scott's website to see secrets that would hint at future games in the franchise. FNAF 3 is where this all came to a head, as there were several teasers that randomly showed up on the site in the build-up to Five Nights at Freddy's 3's release, such as an offline teaser that went right into the show in the bottom right corner. And this teaser has some toys in a box that looks normal and ominous at first until you brighten it and you notice, oh, no, not this time. Not this time. So let's get to the game itself, shall we? First things first, this game really loves to use a lot of meaning in that aesthetic, and the office you're staying in is wildly different to any of the games thus far because you're literally in a horror attraction. Yes, that's right. Based on the mysteries of the original pizzeria, some fellas decided to make a horror attraction with the animatronics that exist solely to scare your socks off. Whether it did a good job in this game is debatable, but your mission is made clear. Survive once again until 6 a.m. Now you think it being a horror attraction is infinitely scarier than previous outings. I mean, the entire point of this place is to scare, so surely it would do a great job of freaking you out. Compared to the previous game where there were literally millions of animatronics after you and any mistake.
Dude, I'm actually gonna fucking throw something across the wall. Like, what the fuck?
In the game and the only danger you have to face in the entirety of the game's playtime. Sort of. Once you load into the first night, you get called by a more laid back and upbeat version of Phone Guy who was very he will welcome you to the horror attraction familiarizing yourself with the way the cameras work in this game. Unlike the audio in any of the crowd, you are also given access to vent cameras that you conceal. These can all malfunction, however, and you will have to go through them if they do malfunction. However, you won't have to do this at all on night 1, making this one of the most boring nights of the entire franchise where you can literally go AFK and nothing more would happen. On night 2, however, that's when the game actually begins, so technically this game's title is clickbait because you're only spending 4 nights at Freddy's. Springtrap was discovered on this night, so from this night onwards, your main goal is to prevent Springtrap from entering the office through any means necessary. Failure to do so will result in you getting jump scared, and his jump scare is one of the latest in the franchise thus far, as all he does is walk towards you with a shit-eating grin on his face. You will also find that there's several hallucinations throughout the game caused by ventilation errors that just so happen to occur throughout the night. It feels like anything associated with Freddy Fazbear at this point is due to have some Freddy Fazbear. If your reflexes are not fast enough, you have to very obvious warning before you're jump scared. Freddy will just slink across the glass outside your room, and looking at him for too long causes him to dip and then scare you. Balloon Boy can appear on any camera, and if he does, you only have around 2 seconds to get rid of him by switching cameras or he'll jump scare you. He can randomly show up in your room and he can jump scare you if you just look at him, so ignoring him is your best shot here. And if you see the puppet in your monitor camera, it can also jump scare you. None of these jump scares actually end the game. Malfunction of the events, the camera, or the audio, and you have to
Really? Fucking
possible. And if he manages to get into the vents, you have to seal the vents he's in as fast as possible before he can be right to your office. And I mean, he can be on one side of the building and suddenly he's zooming across your monitor screen or just peeking into the office from the outside. Seems like he's too much of a pussy to come into the office to shield. Well, the game forces him into the office and the lack of ventilation will cause him the perfect opportunity to. This game will quickly become a boring slog between nights, as all you have to do is keep away from you, making this probably the easiest game in the franchise in terms of micromanaging whatsoever. You can Springtrap's location until the end of the night. However, it is the end of the nights that provide the main reason why the game is and it's the story. In between each night, there's a mini-game that you have to play that explains the story of Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria and why the animatronics in the
I wonder if I replace my Z key with my X key. I mean, my X key with my Z key and my everything else. Will it, like, feel better? Possibly.
And I did it in the last video, so I'm just going to play it again. All the animatronics in the franchise
Not a surface cloud.
Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, an episode for 15.
No more killing, even if it's during.
Robot Envenomman thing, who's the author of all of that game and the reason why the entire franchise.
Barely.
I'm talking about the story as of the release of this game, and I think the story is bollocks anyway. I said it. Anyway, what the guy was
You know
saying
what? Base.
was pretty cool, but during the game, when you see a purple card collect behind a crying child, and after doing something with the child that caused them to cry even harder, all their life points hit 0 and they turn grey, hinting at what happened like this.
Murder.
Anyway, on each of the nights, all of the animatronics one by one are led by a purple Freddy, and they're all slaughtered once they encounter an area where they're not able to go without the game stuttering. On night 5, each of the victims of the slaughter call the purple guy, and he tries to run away from them, choosing to hide in a yellow suit. Obviously, this doesn't work because this is a Freddy Fazbear related product, so malfunctions will obviously be likely. This then leads into the spring lock mechanism, mentioned by Phone Guy during the night, failing and him getting trapped inside it. And Springtrap was born. Upon seeing this cutscene, you will get 2 possible endings. If you play through the game normally without doing anything extra throughout the night, you will get the bad ending. However, if you are inquisitive enough to search everything in the game as far as tapping tiles on the office building corresponding to notes you find on a previous map, which is
Everyone makes mistakes. I've had more than my share, but it's okay cause I'm gonna repair it. They say there are no retakes, but I just don't agree. No, this show is of my own making. Take it back to the start.
86.
I've had to change of hearts. I know we can make it better than it ever was. I know we can make it better. I know we can make it better than it ever was. I know we can make it better.
Oh, that's fine.
Wait, that's the wrong game. Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was released on July 23rd, 2015. Before I even talk about the game, I wanted to mention that this game was slated as the final chapter of Five Nights at Freddy's. Before the game was released, most of the loose ends about the story were already pretty much wrapped up, such as why the animatronics in the original games are so hell-bent on annihilating the player. Technically speaking, the final loose end that still needed to be discovered was what in the hell the fabled Bite of 87 was. And with the promotional material for the game seemingly focusing on a whodunit type mystery, there seemed to be a sense of finality with this game. After some fans were critical of the gameplay mechanics of the game, others are not really that scared to make the game, Scott decided that enough is enough. I'm gonna make the animatronics really scary now. And you've probably already seen them from when I was talking about the promotional material, but he took the original animatronic design from the first game and really cranked things up to 200. All the animatronics got run through the symbiote filter and look like more monstrous versions of themselves. Look how many Freddys are just molded onto Freddy's skin.
Easy. I didn't mean to do that, but like, why not?
Was the cases in FNAFs 1 through 3, you have a rather simple menu.
I'm making fucking back in.
Of animatronic parts. You can tell that Scott really tried to that's ridiculous.
I'm making fucking mac and cheese.
Stop crying. His birthday party's in a couple of days, and he has scare him at random points.
I'm making fucking mac and cheese, and nobody can stop.
Drink your
Susan.
milk, kids.
Susan. Unlucky speedrunners. Unlucky speedrunners.
Yeah, so I happen to know that
Susan.
milk helps build strong bones. Drink up.
One out of two
Speedrunners.
don't get enough calcium, vitamin D, and potassium.
Monitors either. So how are you supposed to know if an animatronic is coming? The answer to that question is one of the most divisive game mechanics that Frank has conjured up. You have to use your ears. No, wait, don't cut them off! This game relies a lot on 3D sound, and it's pretty much a requirement to have headphones on to play this game. Otherwise, you will end up failing. The animatronic behavior in FNAF 4 is similar to the original game in that Bonnie comes in from the left and comes from the right. You have to crank your volume all the way up to 200% because you will hear footsteps either on your left or on your right. So you're right. If you're you have to run to it. When I say run, you're actually doing it, trying to replace it. Also, the right hand the people totally questions that guys. You're not supposed to shine the light in immediately like the other guy. Nothing happened. Oopsie daisy. Joking aside, this is where having your volume up is important, as you're supposed to listen very carefully for music.
Shit. Oh, there goes the 0x. I don't really care. Really? Okay. I think that should be good. Shit. That's not good though.
Your ears will start bleeding. And unlike the previous games where upon death your breathing was static, this game is definitely faster and edgier because you can run around like there's blood on the screen. You're not even safe in your own room either, as Foxy can run into the room at any time and you have to check on him in the closet periodically. Same goes for any of the other animatronics. For some reason, you're just unable to close the doors and lock them. Get ready for the loss of malfunctioning objects strikes again. To like any loss of the doors. I mean, that makes the game ridiculous. It also seems like this was the game that Scott decided that absolutely everything should jump scare you, as Chica doesn't enter the room and end up failing to check on him, instead electing to have a What? The nights in FNAF 4 aren't even that long compared to the games as well, as each hour lasts approximately 60 seconds. The 45 Nights at Freddy's games purely based on hours alone. Now, in some cases, when you look behind you, you'll notice an ID just to the side of the bed. Jumps in enough that you won't notice it until you get back at the building. Sorry, my projecting here. Anyways, this time, a small Easter egg that also hints at the
You know what's funny? If I got Susie death, this would have tied my PB. This would have tied my PB.
Are very frustrating and people definitely want a way to skip through the night. This game mode places you in a hallway and turns you into that large girl from Squid Game where you're playing red light, green light with a plushy version of Springtrap from the previous game. You have to listen really, really closely for Plushtrap's movements as he'll start moving towards you. Very slowly. When your light is on, however, he will stop moving. Your task is to try and stop Plushtrap right as it cross on the floor. If you succeed, the game generously gives you 2 hours appreciate something different from Scott to shake things up a little bit gameplay-wise, but again, the problem of needing your headphones volume up at 300% only to get tonight is very relevant, as the footsteps are very quiet compared to the speaking from Plush Trap. As is custom for every FNAF game, the nights get progressively harder, but there's a huge twist in the 5th night of the game. All of the animatronics have disappeared. Well, I say disappeared. What actually happened is that they were all sent to the bench, and they were replaced with a bigger, badder animatronic that you have to ward off for the whole night. Nightmare Fredbear. So in Night 5, all your gameplay knowledge is thrown out the window and replaced with entirely new gameplay mechanics that are designed to throw you off. Instead of going down one hallway and staying there, Fredbear got his running shoes on as he runs across the entirety of the house trying to get into your room. And you must have headphones on at this point, as he runs from the left to the right and back to the left in random intervals. Once he's ran to one end, you have to go to that door, but instead of closing the door immediately, you have to flash Fredbear once to make sure he's in that hallway. If you keep flashing him though, he'll get closer and want to see you. Literally. In the case that you hear Fredbear have a little bit of a giggle, that means he's already in your room and you'll either find him on your
I need to fix those splits. That's a 2609. Yes, yes. That's so funny.
Technically the easiest part of all of them except the very first night, because instead of loads of animatronics giving you trouble, now you only have to listen for one. A speedy one, but one nonetheless. After you beat this night, you complete the game. Or do you? Going all the way back to the story of the game, and as I said before, you get bullied a lot by absolutely every one of your peers, until the end of Night 5 signals your birthday party. Because your family are so supportive of you and want only the best for your well-being, you're an amazing birthday trip to the pizza that you're deathly afraid of. And what makes things even better is that your brother and his friends really want you to get up close and personal with the big animatronic entertaining everyone today.
What pranksters? Silly little fellows. Peculiar old chums.
So they carry you Spider-Man 2 style to the big golden animatronic in the room. Aren't they thoughtful? Then they jam you in his mouth. Obviously, putting a child in the mouth of a big robot is not exactly the smartest thing to do. So the FFCMO acts up again, leading into one of the most iconic moments of the entire franchise.
1, 2, 3.
It's all come full circle. This is what Scott was building up to this entire time. This is what started it all and closed down the old location. Scott's a genius. How did he do this? A masterpiece in storytelling.
Shut up.
It's called blue,
Yellow,
red.
green. Where are we going with this bit?
I don't know. You called me first.
Yeah, I've been told by an anonymous tip that you're not done.
Pardon?
It didn't happen in 1987.
How do you know this?
Go back a few nights.
Why?
The TV.
What about it?
Turn it on.
Right, I'll switch it on, but I don't see how that's relevant.
1983. Watch this too, Pen. Fuck. No! Why did I do that?
Can only apologize for what happened. After everyone fades away, a random character will vow to put him back together, and what sounds like a heart monitor flatlines, ending the story on a depressing note. But at least you gotta start from it. Night 7 is unlocked after beating Night 6, and it can be seen through the extra menu. Normally I don't talk about all the nights in this much detail, but FNAF 4 is actually one of the most detailed games in the franchise, as almost every single night challenges its own behemoth and has its own story within, with different game mechanics for each night. It seemed that Scott really wanted to end the franchise on a high note with how much content was crammed into this one game. Night 7
Average ass movement. Yo, Avenged Sevenfold? Avenged Sevenfold reference? Real? Real? Ah! Dude, what am I doing? I'm throwing. I'm not gonna manual mash right now because fucking my PB sucks anyways. This Ruto ass. Ugh.
Jump scared, which somehow repairs your vision, or you think you're nice. Mad Freddy is not a sequel to Mad Father, sorry, but it makes Freddy behind you a lot more active. Mr. Foxy does what it says in the tin. Foxy's instantly in your closet at the start of the game, you have to ward him off from Charlie. And All Nightmare is similar to the fight in the main game, where only Nightmare shows up and you have to ward him off the entirety of the night. You can also mix and match these challenges to make your life smoother, but at the end of the day, your just starts with each challenge. Somehow, I ignore it. Yeah, do not ask me how I managed to beat everything. You guess which game I enjoyed playing the most of the original Five Nights at Freddy's game. This is what added in a Halloween patch of the game, released on October 30th, 2015. And in this Halloween edition, all of the animatronics were changed with the exception of the Freddys, with Bonnie and Chica getting splashed with Whatsits, Foxy getting replaced with Mangle, Balloon Boy replacing Crush Trap, and instead of Nightmare,
Just
we
in
have
case.
the puppet returning from FNAF 2 and 3, also known as Nightmare Young. When Five Nights at Freddy's 4 was released, critics and audiences were divided over the game, me included. A lot of people pointed out to the increased tension of the nights, you're relying on sound cues instead of looking at the animatronics slowly arriving in your room via any of the cameras. Coupled with absolutely no dialogue in the game at all, which was the first for FNAF, this did make for a creepy game. The more emotional story surrounding it, pretty much getting bullied and eventually murdered, yes, murdered, between the nights also tied everything together and served as a great finale to the entire Five Nights at Freddy's franchise.
Oh my god.
Story beats not only served to add more confusion to the whole lore, soured a lot of people from it. I remember a lot of content creators were extremely confused as the marketing made a lot of sense to loop things back to the bites of 87 in the original game. But it's at this point that it seemed that Scott could have let go of the entire franchise. I mean, each of the games brought something entirely new to the indie horror genre, and it wasn't long before people started to make clones of FNAF. The critical response to FNAF 4 made this the lowest rated FNAF game, even to this day, and you can kind of see why. While the game certainly had a terrifying aesthetic, the over-reliance on sound cues just couldn't cut it for a lot of players. That being said, the franchise is at the high point. This was a great finale for the original games, and Scott commemorated it with a big render showcasing all of the animatronic designs he played in the first 4 days on his website. Then kicked off the start of for catapulting Five Nights at Freddy's into the limelight, ensuring that the franchise and story ended on a high point, lauded as one of the most iconic horror franchises in gaming history. Wait, what are you doing? Why is everyone changing? Wait, stop it! Why is everyone turning into Chibi? Stop!
For FNAF World.
After the release of FNAF 4, Scott decided that the best course of action for the franchise was to take a little bit of a break from the scares. After all, releasing that many games in such a short amount of time is bound to cause someone to get just a tiny bit burnt out from the franchise. So Scott decided to slow things down a little and work on a brand new game almost immediately after the release of Five Nights at Freddy's 4. The marketing of Five Nights at Freddy's in general also plays a big part to this game in particular, as the render he made thanking the fans for supporting Five Nights at Freddy's featured almost every single animatronic in the franchise. However, starting from September 2015, some of the animatronic designs started changing in what I like to call the Teen Titans Go syndrome. I probably should think of a better name than that. Each of the animatronics started
okay.
chibi versions of themselves one by
I told myself I was not gonna go for that. But what did I do? I went for that.
Thank you message slowly but surely being faded out to make way for the
What?
Mouse around, Scott decided to throw all of that right out the window again and create an Excel spreadsheet game instead. Upon
I'm
opening
surprised
the
I'm getting used to these
website,
controls very quickly.
he's
Like, I
actually
thought I would,
about
like,
that.
accidentally press this button a lot,
Scott Cawthon's
which is now my V key because I had to,
You take a
you know.
franchise not necessarily for kids and then run it through a saturation filter.
Have we heard this one before?
All of the animatronics that were bound to be nightmares from the original games have all been replaced with except from Chico. Jesus Christ, why would I take my dad's program with this? You will then notice that the game's customization options are quite similar to Chipper and Sons in that you're given 3 slots and upon starting a new game, you're asked to erase data, even though you've never even played this game before.
Gaster? Gaster? Easy. Free.
In the cutscene. This bodes well. There have been a lot of bizarre creatures roaming around lately. Even some that look like. Wait a second. That wasn't remotely worth it. After the opening exposition, going around to see what the hell is even going on here, you're plunged right into the game and. This is what you're greeted with. Hang on a second. I thought this was supposed to be 3D. Have I been Ubisofted again? I can't even move Diagon Alley. This tiny screen is essentially what you're going to be looking at for the entirety of the game, so have fun. The art direction that this specific part of the game seems to follow is the mini games that the franchise is all too known for, as you're given 4 options at the bottom of the UI to see your party members, save the game, and bite some crisps. Anyway, let's start moving and go. So here's where most of the gameplay stems from. The battles. At any point in the overworld section, you can get plunged into a wild Pokemon battle where you fight one of Scott's many monstrosities, such as Gearats, Bounce Pots, and Mental Men to name a few. Each of the animatronics have their own abilities within your party, and you have the option to switch between your assigned groups at any time in the battle. However,
What?
at this point,
The fuck?
the game really shows
Ha.
its limitations. The
Ha.
combat is turn-based, and sometimes the game doesn't even know when it's your turn, as you
I don't
can
know
be
why I
waiting
saved.
for what seems like ages before the UI shows up to choose an ability. Even after choosing said ability, the enemies can still attack you, so you
No, well,
can
get back here.
in-game user interface and RNGs on your side. The game also chooses the character to attack with as opposed to you having that option, which turns all the battles in the game to you just clicking whatever the game wants you to click on. Which gets a whole lot worse as the game continues. By looking at the color codes that the game displays when it's your turn. After going through enough sensory overload that would give you just win. Or you can run away if the enemies are proving too much for you. If you end up defeating the monsters, you gain XP and fast tokens for your hard work. Well, where already you spent your hard-earned fast tokens? I'm glad you asked.
Just in case, just in case, just in case. I'm probably gonna lose time to that, but it's fine. Copium.
You can use your fast tokens to buy upgrades to your endoskeleton and survive some. And yes, you can also use fast tokens at Lawman's buying store. This is a store where you can essentially buy instantly and also attack your enemies consistently throughout any battle in the game. Looking at the prices for some of the items on both stores, and you're already dreading having to play FNAF World for hours on end to get yourself some decent upgrades, aren't you? Also have anyway, you can earn fast tokens by completing her minigame to fish up in under a minute. Unfortunately, you can't the minigame daily goes out of action for a certain amount of time. However, there is another way to earn fast tokens and hacking. Is this thing on? Is it on? Are we good? So you want to get the best possible upgrades in the game, and you're too lazy to slog through several boring hours of Excel spreadsheets. Well, good thing I'm here, because I can tell you exactly how to do it. If you're on the Windows machine, go to your application folder, then locate MMF applications. This folder contains data for every single game you play developed using Fusion, which may include the original FNAF games as well. Locate FNAF W. This is your data for FNAF World. Don't need to worry, Windows will ask you what you want to open the file with, and you need Notepad. When you open the file, you're going to get the whole of the tag jargon. This is data that's read by FNAF World and converted to what you see in the game. You can then go and edit everything, from how many tokens you have to just how powerful your animatronics are. Make sure you save, reopen the game, and watch as this game becomes the most ridiculously easy RPG-like game you've ever played in your life, saving you hours and cementing yourself as the biggest god gamer on the planet. Also make sure you reverse the changes afterwards. You wouldn't want to get in too much trouble now, would you? And now we're back. What FNAF World was initially is the people really, really hated it. It was like the game took the family back and gave it a then shot it dead. Most of the reasons why people hated the game were mainly down to the extremely unfinished game. When the trailer dropped, Scott specifically
Oh,
something the game, downgrading the visuals to the old-fashioned Atari style that he loved using in the previous version. If the game looked like this, well, but expectations were already at surface level, only for them to not be met. The battle system being buggy and unexplained nature really not improving people's opinion on the game. Their awareness seems high, leaving people to be incredibly disappointed as FNAF World was an unfinished product that people paid for. Some would say that this is incredibly cool franchise, but again, we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves here. I've said this many times. As the poor reception of the game, Scott decided that this demo and took the game back to its definition. The game was released on Steam after a small stint. Scott allowed the
ow. Fuck.
Scott actually went back to the game and returned a couple of months later with a brand new update to FNAF World, critically titled FNAF World Update 2, or Update 1.2 for being technical here. This game was Scott's Final Fantasy XIV moment, as it was a completely free overhaul of the entire game released on Game Jolt on May the 13th of 2016. This version of FNAF World basically took the original game and finished it, completely overhauling the majority of the game. From the visuals, even down to the inclusion of mini-games within the game itself. I don't want to dwell too much on the game because that really
Bitch.
without seeing as this and the self-awareness that this game has is off the charts. He knows just how much of a billionaire it is, and makes sure that the player knows it too, with spin-offs like Freddy in Space and Foxy Fighters making fun of the goofy nature of the game, coupled with references to Scott's game son. Literally everything got crazy, with even more animatronics being added to the The voice acting in this game served as a neat addition to the tongue-in-cheek humor that Scott displayed throughout, especially Foxy Fighters, where I'm pretty sure that some people would get really annoyed with the performances.
Oh no. That works.
This video is nowhere near done. I am very sorry, future editing team. But first, I think it's time
Something happened in Mansion.
That's right. Methinks it's time for an.
It was Neo. It was Neo.
But before we get into the lightning round, I've come to make an announcement. I'll keep it blunt. Blunt with Emily. I've released some brand new merch that's officially available on Thraft.store. I've been looking the help of some really talented artists to help you bring you products such as a framed limited edition poster, a cool hack face mask, a sleek gaming mouse pad with a really cool design on it, phone cases for Samsung and iPhone, stickers, and you guessed it, hoodies and sweatshirts. There are even more items for you to choose from, so head over to Thraft.store to take your pick at some unique products. When something gains a massive amount of popularity, obviously there's going to be a lot of copycats that are either heavily inspired by or straight up plagiarized content from the original concept. It's a tale as old as time and is something that is especially apparent in the indie horror game community. When Five Nights at Freddy's appeared, people were to look at the franchise and celebrate. The mechanics that game brought to the table had never been done before. So obviously people just discovered sliced bread and pounced the deer. The FNAF phenomenon, Jesus Christ, try and say that quickly 4 times, became so unbearable.
FNAF phenomenon, FNAF phenomenon, FNAF phenomenon, FNAF phenomenon. Okay, hard part of the run is done.
Starting with Five Nights at Treasure Island was originally released sometime around 2014 and is one of the first major fan games from the era. Created by NR's 1996, this game was also inspired by the Abandoned by Disney creepypasta. I mean, it does seem pretty obvious to go for that kind of premise considering there are several creepypastas and urban legends that exist on the internet about the mouse. The gameplay is similar to FNAF, but instead of a pizzeria, you're stuck in an abandoned Disney resort named Treasure Island, and your goal is to defend yourself from what at first seems to be rogue costumes of Mickey Mouse that wander around the attraction. Most
What?
negative Mickey, a variant of Mickey Mouse but with its scare factor cranked up to 10. Because his colors have been inverted. Similar to Springtrap, photo negative Mickey is attracted by sound, so you're tasked with luring him away from your office by shutting off any camera, which would send
That's really tight movement for that.
enough, correct? Incorrect. Other characters can screw you over, like Disembodied, which is just a Donald Duck suit head with no brim. If he shows up in your room, he'll
Jakey with no brim.
your ears.
Christ.
What you're supposed to do if you have to shut up fairly janky, however, as you can just go AFK the entire time and still beat the night. But going AFK didn't always save you. Similar to games like Container Breach, if you wait in the menu for too long because you're either too scared to start or you're a YouTuber trying to introduce people to the latest game you're playing today, the menu would do this as a reference to the Abandoned by Disney creepypasta. The game had numerous bugs and wasn't exactly super polished, but over the years, several improvements to the game were made, culminating in a remake/reboot of the game released in 2020 by Radiant's team. This version of the game fleshed literally everything out from the original and included some incredibly polished graphics and improved models from the original game, with more characters created just for the game and areas such as the pirate island getting facelifts from the original game. The story also got elaborated on and had you play as Jake Smith, an intern working at the Supernatural Studies Association, getting sent over to Treasure Island to conduct some research. The 2020 version of the game is the definitive way to play Five Nights at Treasure Island, and the devs even added special modes into the game such as Classic Mode, a one-to-one remake of the original 2014 game for nostalgia's sake. The success of this FNAF/creepypasta hybrid fan game also caused a surge in fan game crossovers, including Five Nights at the Krusty Krab was released on January 29, 2015. Hey, that's my birthday. Developed by Dakota Wood, it places you in a brand new Krusty Krab that's open in Bikini Bottom. But this time, Mr. Krabs wants to keep as much money as possible, as all the staff in the brand new Krusty Krab are animatronic versions of the old employees that Mr. Krabs brought in to prevent paying salary to his old employees. This game was made in the Unreal Engine, and you can really tell upon the game. Generic UE4 menu, as well as the sheer amount of post-processing done around the place. It's like I'm watching an old Coastal Digital video. The gameplay itself is
Fuck again.
that you're rooted entirely to the spot, and you have to look through cameras to find each of the animatronics before they get
That should be
into the
fine.
office. But this game has one or two twists up its sleeve.
It's only 2, so I'm losing like 10 seconds, probably 20 at best, when I have 5 minutes of time saved in Neo.
As the lights may start flickering in your office and it can bring them in. All things said, the game was your generic FNAF fantasy fair, until the developer made a sequel several months later titled Five Nights at the Chum. This game seriously ups the ante from the first game, and judging by the menu music, it seems we're heading to Gunbox. This game provides more context to the story. In short, you were
What?
kidnapped after the Krusty Krab burned down, and now you're trapped in the chum bucket. A much more
Must have been my head. Must have been my head.
but this time your eyes have been sprinkled with several filters. This game really pushes the post-processing of Unreal
Must have been my head.
everywhere, which leads into
What the fuck am I doing?
pet peeves, or HPP for short. It's something entirely irrational, but I've never liked it when first-person games, especially horror games, have random filters
Watch this
dropped on
1 in
the eyes
20.
and camera lenses. I mean, technically, eyes are lenses in and of itself, but things like dust and lens flares and grain, and sometimes even UI elements show up in some found footage games, with no proper detail as to the fact that the character's supposed to be carrying a camera. It happens in a few games, and it does take me right out, but that's only a small pet peeve. Five Nights at the Chum Bucket is an improvement in almost every
What the? I got the 1 in 20. Yo! Fuck, Chris, don't die. Don't fucking die on me.
The important thing about this game is this original concept and showed that it could work in a fully rendered 3D environment. And this is especially important for future games, especially one that would take animatronics and put them in a fully free roam environment for you to run up against. And that's the Case Animatronics. Aha! You thought! Was released on August 3rd, 2016 and takes things in a completely different direction. Yes, we are doing a time skip here. This game was essentially the developers' attempt to mix Outlast with Five Nights at Freddy's, and the results? A game. Definitely a game. Now, technically speaking, this isn't really a fan game, as the devs are very quick to correct people. It's loosely inspired by the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, and this game is different to the fan games we've covered in the lightning round thus far, as this one costs money. Even though it isn't much, this game actually costs more than the Five Nights at Freddy's games. So you'd think for approximately $10, you'd get yourself an extremely polished game out of it. Let's just
Okay, I actually need to finish the run. Freak.
And scenes of violence? How can an image be strong? Is it possible to lend this power? You useless pile of junk! Not appropriate for people
Oh.
with hard That's really specific. But at least the devs are looking out for all the pregnant women placed in animatronics. So in this game, we're playing as John Bishop, a police officer working for the Aurora Police Department. And let me just say, acting in this game is definitely something else.
The original said that man is responsible to protect the life cycle.
I have no idea what sort of direction the voice actors were given, but it certainly wasn't forward.
Is this some kind of...
When you actually start playing the game, you're given a tablet that serves as the FNAF hub of the game, where you use the tablet to look around the CCTV of the building to scout for any animatronics that are nearby. And after finding a door, you can go to that door and...
That should be good. Come on, don't sleep now. Idiots. You're joking, okay. Oh! Easy! Easy! Free! Free fight! Oh my god, I thought I missed my move.
The initial version was similar in gameplay to another horror game named Boogeyman, in which you're supposed to shine a flashlight in several locations to prevent yourself from getting caught by the monsters in your own home.
Oh!
The developer
Oh!
free roam. T-Jock
Ah!
Slender mixed together to make a game in which you're collecting items in a set.
Oh! Almost an hour.
As a cap and wheels, but gameplay is gameplay at the end of the day. When the game was initially made, it didn't even have the option to look for items in a set time. All you were tasked with doing was evading the animatronics for as long as you could. And let me just say, the renditions of the original animatronics in these fan games are, in my opinion, some of the scariest. Each of the animatronics in Reborn are ignited versions of the originals, and the developer did a good job in actually making them threatening and scary. Because as you'll find out later in the video, the animatronic designs go a long way with regards to making a game scary. This has also helped with the sound design and joy of creation. The animatronics are big mechanical things with lots of wires and machinery from within, and it seems like a lot of fan games and regular games seem to forego this fact. The animatronics in the joy of creation really sound like they're broken versions of the originals, as the overbearingly loud footsteps and the mechanical whirring, especially on Freddy, really heighten the tension in T-Jock R. It really seems like these animatronics are big, and there's a reason to be afraid of them. I know earlier I mentioned that there's such a thing as trying too hard to make the design scary, especially during the production of FNAF 4, but I think the joy of creation does a good job in mixing the uncanny valley with actually creepy design. Back to the game
Oh wait, I'm
itself, and
stupid.
T-Jock R is similar to the
Fuck.
like I said before, but this time
Shut up, shut up, shut up, it's fine.
Texas, and the
I'm still technically saving time because this is not. I changed where I split for Spamton. So this is still like a 5-minute flat.
for a house this big.
Check the. Okay, global hockey's still on. That's good.
Time, then you fail the objective. But instead of an instant jump scare sending you back to the menu, you just get put on freedom and you're free to walk around the house until an animatronic comes to vibe check you. Yeah, in a weird design choice, each time you die, you instantly respawn back to the start of the level, regardless of if you completed it or not. And you have to nuke the entire level again until you get killed, which would be a huge issue depending on the animatronics mechanics. Foxy and Chica both have unique mechanics, in that Foxy will trail you until he makes a sound and his eyes light up. Once that happens, you only have a few seconds reaction time to look behind you with your flashlight and stun him. However, if you look at him for too long with the flashlight, he'll get aggressive and instantly kill you. Now bear in mind that each time you die, you and Foxy still in the same place at the same time. And you will find that death will become extremely common as you play. Same with Ignited Chica. Her level is a blatant rip-off of Slender, as she's in a forest and will constantly trail you. But looking at her for too long will cause her to get aggressive and instantly punk you to death. This game also has another one of my HPPs, and it's made on the Unreal Engine and does the typical post-processing bloom and grain effects to add to the dark and gritty nature of the game. But materials and eyes don't work like that! So Now, T-Drop R didn't have much story to it, with nothing really breaking each night. That is until 2017, when Nixon released Joy of Creation Story Mode. This is probably the fan game I'm going to spend the longest talking about, because I feel like this one also provided a major blueprint for some of the future mainline games moving forward. Story Mode basically combined all the gameplay features of the original game and Reborn, and mashed them all together under one long narrative, set in an alternate reality on the second anniversary of the first game.
Oh, I just realized that this I have to subtract 6 seconds off of this because of the fucking chapter 1 incident. Right.
The narrator of the story is Nick.
Fuck. Should be good.
I'm not going to knock the voice actors because I'm sure they did try, and they are nowhere near as bad as in case animatronics. But this game does suffer from some of the corniest writing in a horror game. And corny is good sometimes, but the way this game goes about its story sounds like the writers wrote it while listening to Evanescence on repeat the entire time. The story instantly takes a turn
Wake
for
me
the
up.
stupid
Wake
when
me
Scott finds a guy called Michael suddenly in his house and lets him stay. No, Nick convinces Scott to let a complete stranger stay in their household. If I saw a complete stranger end up in my house with no explanation, the game would have ended 5 seconds in.
Okay, that is a
After that
123.
setup, you're then free to play through each of the memories in the game. The first level's the bedroom, and you play as Nick as a baby. And you're tasked with fending off 4 animatronics that show up around your room for 6 whole hours. Please remember that you are a literal zygote, and you have to listen to Michael on the phone, who will tell you how to evade each of the animatronics in question.
Okay, so
Sick man, you Nixon. Credit where credit is due. One thing that this game does extremely well is combine the FNAF gameplay that we're all really familiar with the free roaming aspect of T-Jock R. This keeps the game incredibly fresh, as each memory has completely different game mechanics that would keep you on your feet so you don't get used to the way the game works, like the mainline FNAF games. In the bedroom, you're rooted to the spot in your bed, and being the athletic baby that we are, we have to move around the crib, closing the curtains if you see Freddy through the window, turning on the lights to check in on your sanity, and pretending to fall asleep if Bonnie or Chica get into the room. The second memory in the living room spices things up a little more, in which this time you have to rely on the television screen to pause Freddy and Foxy, but you can only pause one at a time. The technology in the Corthan household is out of this world, because this television has constant live footage from Freddy and Foxy, and you're supposed to hide when one of them enters. It becomes a game of timing their arrival, because as the night progresses, they get faster and can catch you off guard if you don't time things right. Bonnie can't be stopped, however, and you have to listen to his moans from outside.
Wait, that came out wrong.
If Bonnie opens the main doors and sees you, he will vibe check you with what is, in my opinion, the greatest jump scare in any FNAF game, fan game or not.
no, you're right. I fucking love that jump scare.